Hello, my name's Hardy Martin. I'm an artist and have been for most of my life, about 50 years professionally. So I've done a lot of different types of artwork, and that's why I'm doing this video to explain how to use and what you need to buy as a beginner to start doing some artwork. I'm going to discuss basically 13 media. I won't go into great detail, but it'll give you an outline of what to look for when you want to start doing some artwork. First of all, I'll start with pencil drawings. Just basic pencil drawings like this. This is a very nice sketch of a dog. What you need to do is find an object that you would like to experiment with and try to copy. Sit down, good old pencil and bond paper, and go to work. If you want to use a little better drawing paper, just get this at a Walmart or a arts and crafts store. They're about $4, $3 or $4 for a pad like this. It's a nice heavier paper, and you get a nicer effect actually than bond paper. Also, you can use different colored papers. You can find a lot of these different colored papers in arts and craft stores. They're kind of expensive, but if you want to play around with different papers, try it. One thing I would talk about is the type of pencil. Just a simple pencil is fine. It's graphite pencil. I personally, there's hundreds upon hundreds of different types of pencils that you can choose from hard lead to very soft lead. I like soft. It's not lead, it's graphite, but a soft lead pencil. My favorite is a Stabilo pencil. You might experiment with it if you find one in the store you like. Try it out. If you buy one of these, they cost about $1.50 a piece. You'll like it as far as doing some pencil drawing. Also, very important, eraser. You'll need an eraser. There are quite a few out there on the market. In my opinion, the only kind to use is a kneaded eraser. K-N-E-A-D-E-D, kneaded eraser. You can find it at an office supply or art store. Get you one. You'll use it. You can use it for a long time. Get you a pencil sharpener like this. You can buy it at Office Depot for $1.50. I like a hand crank pencil sharpener like this. It's a very sharp point. Very simple. I don't like electric sharpeners. These work best for me. Okay, next we'll go to color pencil drawings. Here's a nice example of a color pencil, an apple. Gosh, you do the same thing. Find a banana and do you a drawing of another piece of fruit. The types of colored pencils there's a great variety out there you can find, but I have a whole, you can buy them in a set, a fairly modest price set of colored pencils. But if you really want to do some nice work, buy some Prismacolors. Prismacolors. They come in sets and are kind of expensive, but you can buy the pencils individually and sit down and, work with it. This drawing paper is the best to use. Practice on bond paper, but you'll enjoy these kind of pencils. Oh, and Crayons. You can work with crayons. I've seen some beautiful pieces of artwork done with just plain crayons. I mean, use your imagination and see what you can do. Next, I'll go with charcoal. Charcoal drawings. Charcoal basically is a chalk. Here's a sample of a charcoal drawing, nice loose figure drawing. You can get some really different effects with charcoal. There are charcoal sticks like this. You get some really nice effects, and you can, you know, do sharp lines. They come in sticks. You can buy them individually, or you can buy colored pencils. And this one is a credit color, but they're fun to use. Charcoal sticks will get on your hands, but as I told you, the kneaded erasers are the best erasers if you need to do a little erasing. Try some colored paper, like I was talking about. Some nice effects with colored paper. Sharpen your charcoal with a razor blade, or I use an X-Acto knife to sharpen mine. Just be careful with them, because you can use the charcoal pencils in a pencil sharpener, but they're a lot easier to get a good point with a knife or a razor blade. Let's see. Next we'll go with pastels. Here's a nice example of a pastel drawing of a face. You know, you can take a picture of somebody, your mother, your sister, or brother, and experiment a little. The colored pencils work great on just, you know, the basic drawing paper like this. You know, it doesn't hurt to invest in a pad of drawing paper. You can use it for all kinds of pencil drawings. The pastels come in sticks. Sticks like this, well, they're actually chalk sticks, or just like charcoal, colored charcoal, like this, or pencils. They're so great to work with. But if you use the sticks, they get on your hands, so don't wear your nice white slacks when you do work with these. Okay. Oh, and also colored paper. Experiment with colored paper and white pastels. Nice. You get really some fun effects with it. Okay. We'll talk about pen and ink. Pen and ink drawings. Here's a nice example of a pen and ink of an eye. Very well done. A good artist did this piece here. For pen and ink, you can, today, rather than, you know, I started out with pen and inks with a pen like this. Call them Crockwell pens. The fine point and black India ink. It's very, very common in craft stores or art supplies. You just dip your pen in and, you know, do some fun experimenting with it. You get some really neat fun with these pen and ink. Well, of course, the felt tip pens, the very fine tip pens, have really become popular. You know, they work just like your ink pens, and there's so many varieties and colors that you can work with. I got paint all over my ink all over my hand. So experiment with that. You know, these are all water soluble. You can wash, you can wash it out. Most of the inks, some of the ink can be a little permanent, but it'll generally wash out with soap and water. And experiment on any type of paper. Drawing paper's fine. I use a wet sponge to clean my pens with, and use lots of paper towels. Okay. Also, color markers. Here's a nice example of a color marker technique. You can start with a penciled outline, generally a light penciled outline, the area you want to work with, and then come in with, I've got a set, I keep all kinds of colored markers for different uses. You can buy sets of color markers, or buy them individually in art stores. You can buy them individually. They're kind of expensive, but they're a lot of fun to work with. Okay. Next, while we're with pen and ink, we'll talk about calligraphy, the art of calligraphy, which is basically hand lettering. This takes a lot of practice and takes pretty much skill to do it, but if you start with the right pens, they're fun to work with, and you can eventually come where you can do invitations or awards and practice your technique. Most of the calligraphy pens are like this. They have a staff with interchangeable points. The points like this, you slip in, dip it in your India ink, and experiment a little bit. This point is called a flat nib pen, and it's the type of point that most calligraphers use. Now you can use the finer tips. I call it crow quill pens, that are very fine and detailed. You get some really nice work with it. A lot of the modern day type fonts are based on calligraphy style writing. Okay. Next, I'll show you a sample of a brush drawings. Drawing with brush and ink like this. Here's a nice, really well done little sitting portrait here of a child. This is done with ink and a brush. The brushes that you would want to use are very fine bristles that are not rigid. You get you some ink, India ink, and well, you can have so much fun and get it all over you. That's why you need lots of paper towels, and I use a dampened sponge a lot. Okay, next. Oh, incidentally, when you're working with a lot of this media, especially the brush artwork, find some illustration board. They call it illustration board. This is a piece of Crescent Illustrated. It's specifically for artwork. It's rigid. This has a very nice texture. There's some textures that are smoother than others in the illustration board, but you can find these at preferably an art and crafts or an art supply store. It's nice enough, but any kind of paper, drawing paper works. Whatever more serious you get, the better paper board you should use. Okay. Next, we'll talk about watercolors. Watercolors, very popular media to work with. Here's a really nice example of a floral watercolor. It's very nice. You get a lot of blending that you can't get with other media when you work with watercolors. Of course, water, they're all water soluble and easy to clean. You can buy watercolors in little sets like this. I can get it open. This one's been used a little bit. You've got some basic colors. These are hard colors. You add water, of course, rub on each one and get a consistency you like before you start. Also, they come in tubes. Watercolors come in tubes like this. You can buy a set. These are fairly expensive, but the tube, it's soft, opaque watercolors. You squeeze out, add some water, and you get more brilliant colors with the tube colors. Some actually come in what they call dyes. They're very expensive and come in little jars, different colors. The most popular are Dr. Martin dyes, and if you're a serious watercolor artist, you can buy some of those and experiment, and you won't believe the brilliance of the colors. Mixing your colors, just get you a tray like this, the art store. They're $3 or $4. Get you some good old watercolor paper. If you do it on, you need a fairly heavy paper to use. Of course, here's a little watercolor. You get some blending and light and dark effects that are, great, really interesting. But it's worth your time to get a pad of watercolor paper. Also, illustration board is what I've used when I've done watercolors. Illustration board, like I showed you a while ago. So let me move some of this out of the way. Oh, the watercolors. You can find a variety of brushes. You want a soft brush, there's hundreds and hundreds of varieties, but you can spend a fortune on some of these brushes that are sable and exotic hair. I I buy an inexpensive brush and with a flexible consistency to it. But I mean, start with a set. The sets come with 2 little brushes with them. Experiment like that. Okay. We'll talk about oil and acrylic. Oil and acrylic painting. Oils and acrylics appear the same, but there's a good bit of difference. I mean, of course, oil painting with oil colors is takes a long drying time once you finish with one, but acrylics, opposed to oils, dries quickly in several hours, so you can work over things you've done, and has a lot of flexibility there. I've used a lot of both, and right now I use mostly acrylics, but definitely use oils occasionally. Oils, you'll need a paint thinner or lacquer thinner like this to clean your brushes or whatever you're using. I personally like to use, I used to mix my colors instead of a artist palette. You know, some of them are costly. I use these styrofoam plates to mix my colors in, and once I get through, I just throw them away. You know, I can buy 50 for $1.50. So try that. Of course, here's a nice example of an oil painting. I've just been cleaning this for an artist broker friend of mine. So nice. It's actually done on a cheap board. It's not done on canvas, but it's a beautiful piece of art. I use a lot of different materials for doing my painting, and acrylics or oil. This is a stretched canvas. These are common. They're fairly expensive. You know, you're going to spend $4 or $5 for a small one like this even, but it's canvas. This is actually, I've painted over something that's underneath this, but the stretched canvas is a canvas board. That's actually been painted on. It's a canvas board. They're a little less expensive. Try that. Or, I mean, what I do a lot also is, and I know many artists that do the same thing, to paint on masonite. Masonite's very durable. I mean, it's inexpensive. You buy it at a builder's hardware like Home Depot. I actually spray paint mine in white for a primer, as opposed to gesso. You can use gesso, but it's expensive at the art stores. So paint on masonite. Some of the best work I've seen ever is done on masonite. As far as brushes, there's thousands of brushes you can use. For oil and acrylic paintings, I use a more of an acrylic brush. It has fairly stiff bristles to it. I use some with soft bristles, but you know, there's a huge variety. I've got dozens of brushes, from fat. I mean, I've used these on some big abstracts, just plain cheap paintbrush. I've done a lot of abstract paintings with that, a Home Depot spatula. Get some great effects. But this, you know, this is a palette knife. You buy these at the art stores. They cost $4 or $5 a piece, but you get a really nice effect. More abstract and impressionistic styles with the palette knives. Buy you one and try it. You'll like it, I think. As I said, clean up your oils with thinner, or, you know, water soluble for acrylics. Oils and acrylics, I basically work in 14 different colors is my standard. If you want to try some colors, you can buy sets of acrylics or oils that you have to buy the set, or you can buy individual colors, and they're fairly expensive in the art stores and arts and crafts stores. I use white, bright yellow, yellow ochre, orange, light magenta, brilliant red, brilliant purple, burnt sienna, lime green, green deep, aqua blue, blue brilliant, cobalt blue, and black. Now, what I'd suggest before you start painting, sit down, pull out a magazine or any printed piece and tear out a piece of paper that you like the color of. Say that color. Try to match that color with the acrylic or oil paints that you have. It really tests your ability to mix colors, because mixing colors, color matching is the most important thing in doing painting, in my opinion. So try that. As we end here, this is a fun type of art to do. We call it collage art. You've seen all kinds of examples of collage artwork. You just take different items out of magazines, anything printed. Collages, you can use wood, you can use stone, you can use any kind of thing with texture and color. All you need is some scissors and some glue. I suggest rubber cement glue because it's safe, it's non-toxic, and it comes with a thinner that you can thin it with called rubber cement thinner at an art store. They're not that expensive, but I mean, you can use any kind of glue you want to. Elmer's glue, or you can use waxes, but to be permanent, you want to use something like rubber cement, in my opinion. But I would, if you start a collage, start it on something, material like poster board, like you can do it on any board or paper, whatever. Start with poster board. It's inexpensive and it's durable. So try some collage. So if you're using rubber cement, this is a rubber cement pickup. It actually, if you have residue on your board from rubber cement, this picks it up. That's what these were designed for, rubber cement pickups. Okay, getting lastly, airbrush painting. You've all seen airbrush examples of airbrush painting. Here's one that's very nice, very detailed, a lot of blending. Airbrushes, this is an airbrush here, picture. When I don't have one anymore, I've used one a lot in the past. They were basically created to do retouching on color photographs, which is very common for years until digital retouching, Photoshop, which basically does the same thing. But you see a lot of painting on cars with airbrushes, body painting, mural painting. Very popular. It takes a lot of practice, a lot of work to perfect your skills in it, but there are a lot of people that enjoy it. And these airbrush equipment costs fairly expensive, but you might take a crack at it. Last but not least, finger painting. No, I've got it upside down. Finger painting, here's a nice example. It's really nice, abstract. Finger painting can be really fun. I've done finger painting on some large abstracts that I've done with my acrylic art, but try some finger painting on, try it on a heavier paper if you can, and you can buy the sets that are non-toxic inks and wash out easily. Get you a big board and buy you a set of finger paints and sit down and have some fun. Find a place that you're not going to get paint everywhere. You can clean up easily. So that about wraps up all the two-dimensional media that I'm aware of in a very simple form. So I hope this is helpful to you, and good luck, and I hope you become good and famous artists. Thanks.